can you give us kind of the overview, the high level of Warplots before we jump into it?
Sure. So Warplots is our Elder Game PvP feature. You start to participate in it at level 50. It is a War Party based 40v40 customizable match. So I say War Party meaning that you actually have to go out and create a team called a War Party. It has a fixed size of 80 members, so you can hold more than the match size can for backup. The War Party owns the Warplot, and you can go into it. You have a special War Party currency called War Coins, and that's used to customize your base. And then once you've got everything set up in your build phase environment, then you can queue up and then start a match.
So 40v40 sounds really big, and I know like in the game itself there's a group finder, you know, the ability to something similar for this. It'll just make it really easy for someone to jump in. So once your Warplot's queued up, any War Party members that you have with you will also queue up. But if you don't have enough people on, say you only have 30 of your 40, we have a really cool thing called the mercenary system. So anybody who's not a member of a War Party can queue up for Warplot PvP and participate. And we're going to take their ELO rating that they've achieved for Warplots PvP and match them to an appropriate War Party who needs members. So, I mean, with that being said, there will be a substantial ranking system behind it that will really allow the top teams and top guilds to compete against one another.
Yeah, absolutely. So the team has a rating. You have a personal rating that will gate you for Warplot-specific rewards, including equipment. And we will have a season mechanic for this. So at the end of a season, if your rating is within a certain team party rating threshold, that will qualify you for certain team rewards.
Awesome. So we're seeing some of the, of course, some of the footage from, I guess, in-game Warplot right now. But are we going to get to see sort of the creation or how this all?
Yeah. So I have Kevin here with me. We're going to actually, we've got a sort of blanks Warplot. That we can start to customize. If you want to go ahead and take a look at that.
So now with the Warplots, and you explained the different sides, and I guess we'll go into it right here. But it's not just necessarily a map that exists. I mean, it's there, but there's some things that as players you mentioned it's fully customizable.
Yep.
Can you kind of expand on that a little bit for me?
Yeah, sure. So this is the build map for War Party's Warplot. There are 7 large modifiable areas on this plot that we can put modifications in, and this is much like our Wildstar's housing system that uses plug-and-socket technology. So each of these large pieces, you see there's a centerpiece right there. There's one in the front, one in the back, and then 2 at the entranceways. You can see the dark concrete-looking ramps leading down, and then the large exterior areas. Those are all sockets that we can put modifications into. So what Kevin is going to do is we're going to actually start out. We've gotten, if you create a War Party for the first time, you get 500 War Coins, but we cheated ourselves up because we want to show you what a really awesome one looks like. So you get your War Coins when you're completing PvP or Warplot PvP matches, and you get bonus amounts if you win. You also get them if you destroy the other team's modifications. So what he's doing right now is he's making a deployment station. And in the match, players can run up to the pads, and they'll be rocket podded into the battlefield. And you'll see that the numbers on the pad correspond to the numbers that you'll be hot dropped into the battlefield.
Great.
So I mentioned that people can actually destroy these modifications, and you can do that by targeting the modification structure unit. So that's the blue thing on the left-hand side of the screen. If it reaches 0% health, it is technically destroyed. So then none of the plugs will be active for you. Each plug also has, the important thing to note is you can also repair this back up during the match.
I was about to ask, right.
Yeah, using match resources.
Okay.
You can also use match resources to upgrade the plug, so you'll get the additional pads on each side when you upgrade it. So now he's looking at adding modifications to the entranceways for the Warplot. What he's doing right now is adding a military research center and a silo. And these particular plugs will either add a passive bonus to the Warplot itself or to the War Party. For the military research center, it's going to do a bonus to all of the free place deployables that you place around, because you can put traps and turrets in various spots on the Warplot. So it's going to give them a health bonus, and then you can upgrade it to increase that health bonus.
So, I mean, a mixture between defensive and sort of offensive capabilities to add on, which really, I mean, since both teams are sort of creating their own side, you could have a lot of different dynamic matchups, I imagine.
So what we're looking at right now is the silo. This is another entranceway plug. What we've actually gotten different kind of structure makeups for each of the plugs, so there's different ways to funnel and choke point the enemy players who are coming in. Some of these will also have defensive capabilities, so you can see at the bottom corner of the screen there's a player-controlled turret that you can use to fire off various abilities. There's also an energy grid. When enemy players are coming through that energy grid, they'll also be taking damage. So they have to bring in a small party, destroy the plug, and so nobody else can eat the damage from those laser beams.
So as a match begins, is there like a set amount of time that teams have to sort of prepare their side, or do they do that before they go in?
So all of this is done with the build map. This is completely outside of the match. We didn't want to stress out the players and have them spend 10 to 15 minutes building before the match actually starts.
So something that teams and players can experiment with at least outside before they are jumping in.
So they can go into this anytime as long as they're not in a match itself and play around with it and get it customized the way that they like. So this one is a BattleBot factory. It's going to produce guards for the side of the warplot that it's socketed into. So yeah, there's a wide range of offensive and defensive style capabilities you can have set up here.
How does it work in terms of when you have a team of 40, or do sort of like as a team, do you share these layouts? If you're like, wow, I really like what my teammate did and I want to make sure that, when we're hopping into a game and he's not here or she's not here, we could do that.
So the war party only has the one war plot.
Okay.
And then everybody contributes to building that.
Okay.
The war party is a guild-like structure, so it has ranks that you can assign various permissions to. So if you want to lock out people from being able to purchase stuff, you can do so. Or just give that ability to, say, officers for your war party. But
it will still take a combined team effort to be able to get the resources, the war coins, etc., to be able to build what you...
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So this is a type of hazard that it's a nuclear power plant. So when you enter into the area that the plug has been the modification is in, so it'll affect from the entrance of the warplot to the generator for that side. Enemy players entering into it will have an environmental hazard applied to them. They'll have a hazard bar. As it's ticking up, they're taking damage. Their mobility is decreased because you'll get a sprint debuff. And if the bar fills, they're taking extra damage. So they're going to want to take out this plug because it can be pretty deadly if friendly players who are in a hazmat suit and aren't affected by it are hanging out and ready to ambush.
I mean, give me an idea on how much team coordination it takes to, really go up against this. I imagine we're not in any sort of situation where I'm the lone medic and I'm going to run in and take this thing out. I assume it's going to be something that will take a very good coordinated team effort.
So it will take a little bit of coordinated effort, but we're expecting maybe a group or two could actually go through some of this stuff. But you also have to pay attention to the battlefield itself. Some of these abilities, or some of these modifications, like the guard plug, will give you an ability on a warplot bar that you'll be able to access in the match. Same thing for our super weapons. You'll be able to fire your orbital laser or your multiple rocket launcher, but you have to have what we call nanopack resources in order to do that. So those are going to be nodes out in the middle of the battlefield that you'll have to capture and start accruing.
And they're unique for each game, right?
Yes.
Yeah. That looks like a
so this is our OSIN guard plug. This one actually requires an architect to craft a fab kit in order to push it down. These guys are sort of tank guards that have a little bit of a knockdown ability. They're pretty cool. Some of these also have barriers, like you see the fire vents on the ground. Those will actually damage enemy players as they come across them as well.
So you mentioned the idea that this is something that has to be uniquely crafted ahead of time. Is there quite a bit of sort of correlation between the crafting system you got in game and just constantly evolving this? Is there going to be a lot?
Absolutely.
Okay,
so
that's great.
We expect to have continually new additions that we add in. Some of them are going to be craftable, some will have to be purchasable. We'll also require some of the free place traps and turrets that I was talking about as craftable as well.
So, Jen, can you give me an idea? You know, we've established our war plot. We're ready to go in. What are my win conditions as a team? And yeah, can you?
So there are 2 ways to win. The first way is through attrition.
Okay.
So every war party has an energy meter, and that the base amount of that meter at the start of the match is dependent upon what sockets are filled on the map and what type of sockets they are. When the match starts, because every plug has a maintenance cost associated with it, that energy is going to start draining down.
Okay.
So this acts as like a soft match timer. But your enemy can actually affect this. So player kills will decrement that meter.
Gotcha.
Modification destruction will decrement that meter. And as you saw in the Warplots flick, if anybody was watching it, the boss kills that you do will also decrement that meter.
Gotcha.
If your energy goes down to 0, then you've lost the match. The other way is through generator destruction. So each warplot has 2 generators in the back of the warplot. So you'd have to bust through the defenses of the enemy team's warplot to get to the generators to destroy them. But you need to also pay attention to midfield, because that will grant you a bonus. So every nanopack node that you capture in midfield, which also gives you the resources, will provide a stacking damage vulnerability debuff.
And as you list every single one of these things, I'm realizing that every 40 person will really have a role in terms of coordinating all this.
Now we also have path content in the space too. So our path system, our soldiers, explorers, scientists, and settlers will also have various things to do in the map. For example, explorers will have access to trailblazing nodes that they can activate and provide speed buffs to the people around them. What we're actually looking at right now is my favorite plug. This is a boss summoner unit. And if you have this modification installed, you can go to veteran dungeons and get a chance to receive a boss token, or you can go to our raid bosses and have a chance to receive a boss token. You put that in your war party's bank, and when you're playing the match, you can consume that token to summon a holographic 20-man version of that boss.
That's really awesome.
Yeah.
I don't think that's something so unique. I don't think that's ever been done before.
So when he's summoned out, he'll defensively patrol your base, or you can choose to use an ability on your bar to, if you have match resources, of course, to send that guy out to the enemy warplot to do some damage. So he'll actually attack generators. He will attack guards. You can use them to distract the enemy. Warplot bosses will even fight each other. But the important thing with this is once you use the token is consumed, so you're going to have to go back and buy more or get more.
Okay. So this isn't just a, hey, this boss is going to be in our warplot every single time. It is
might not be.
We're playing against a really good team, and we need to consider using this item. Fantastic. With the landscape that we've got here, will there just be the sort of the single map, or this particular warplot? Will there be different layouts, or is that something that maybe in future content
that will probably that we're hoping that will maybe come in future content, but right now there is just one battlefield map.
Sure. And then can you give me an idea about how many different add-ons there actually would be in the grand scheme?
I think
talking
there
hundreds?
are 140 different modifications you could probably do. That said, the combinations of those things are
into the millions, right? some large number that everyone will figure out undoubtedly. So I know that a lot of Wildstar fans obviously have been sort of wondering where you were going to go with this. How's the reception been so far?
Well, so far the reception has been pretty good. We've had a lot of performance issues in our beta server environment, but that's expected, so we've been spending a lot of time focusing on doing the fixes for that. Our last run that we did on Nexus was really fun, and we're going to continue to fine-tune and get this ready for launch. It's been awesome. And
launch, of course, is June 3rd.
June 3rd,
right? Pre-order available right now.
We are pre-ordering now.
Is there anything else about Warplots that we didn't necessarily cover that we need to make sure that people are fully aware of?
There is a lot of information. I'm probably forgetting most of it because I've been in press interviews for so long. But we're going to be doing deep dives for this system over the next few weeks. We're going to be launching our Warplots flick on the web, and we're doing a dev speak as well. So We've got a bunch of information coming out. We're going to continue to keep you guys updated as the system progresses. It's going to be awesome.
Fantastic. Well, it looks great. I really appreciate you coming on and sharing. Thank you, Kevin, for driving camera and giving us all those great shots. And Jen, thank you very much for coming on. More Wildstar's released on June 3rd, but you can pre-order it right now. And guys, thanks for checking out Warplots. We're going to have more coming at you from the PAX floor at the Twitch booth. Thanks for joining us. We'll be right back.